Hey there guys, sorry about that. The camera shut me off, but while I'm making the second video, I'm just going to sort of rehash, give you a synopsis of what I was stating in the last one if you hadn't seen it. I was going over ways to, a number of ways you can save money if you're in financial dire straits, as I had been in the past. I went from having, and I wanted to show you my, I went from literally having a credit score of 527, and this was, okay, 8/6/2012, and let's go to Discover. And activity, FICO credit score card, 804. So, still not perfect. I think 850 is the highest it'll go, so I've got a little bit of ways to go. But considering what I was, a few years ago, or a decade ago, I'm really not gonna complain. But yeah, what I had alluded to in my past video, I alluded to people that are underwater on their automobiles. I'll tell you a little story. This is back in 2006. Beginning of 2006, I had recently, within the last year, purchased a brand new 2005 Toyota Tacoma pickup truck. And it wasn't even that pricey of one. Now the things are like 50 grand, but it was like in the early 20s for 22,000 or something. Base model, crank windows, stick shift, 5-speed, it was the access cab, not the double cab, but it was 4-wheel drive, 4-cylinder. But I was coughing up almost $400 a month for that thing, and I had left my job as a kitchen manager because it was a terrible job. It didn't pay particularly well. I took like $2 an hour less to go back to the 99 just as a line cook. It was stressful, but less stressful. But I was making like $10 an hour and just trying to keep my head above water. And I got into debt, and I sold the truck on eBay. And I bought, they call them beaters these days. Back then they used to be called a shit box. But I found a 92 or 93 Oldsmobile 88 Royale that had been, only had like, I think 50,000 miles on it. It was elderly owned, but it had been hit from the, it had been anyway, an accident, minor accident, but it had been hit from the rear and shoved into the car in front of it. So it had like a cracked bumper on the back, a little dent. I think, no, the front might have had a cracked bumper. I mean, it was still intact. It wasn't horrible looking, but, it had some aesthetic blemishes due to that. And anyway, the guy stopped driving, and his, I think it was his grandson sold the car to me, but it worked out perfectly, like literally, because that's right at the time. It all happened like within a day. I think it was a Sunday or something like that. That night I had, or that afternoon, I sold it on eBay. The guy came up to pick the truck up, and then I ate dinner, and that evening, the guy that was selling the Oldsmobile came and picked me up, and drove me over there. And then the next day, first thing in the morning, I started my job when I worked for Naked Juice. That actually paid really well. It was like $14 an hour at the time with tons of overtime. And I was literally doing like 70, 80-hour weeks there. So I was able to, save up money then. But anyway, there are things you can do. Like I'll go on a Craigslist now, and if you have an astronomical car payment, I highly recommend, unless you've got like at least 10 grand set aside in the bank for an emergency, I highly recommend just get rid of your car. Sell it for whatever you can. Even if you have to take a little bit of a loss, say within like 10, if it's like 50 grand or something, even if you have to take like $8,000 or $10,000 loss, you're still going to be better in the end. So, if you go into Craigslist, there's all kinds of cool stuff you can look for. Let's see, Boston Craigslist, cars and trucks. And, I'm going to bring the camera a little closer here. But, yeah, oh, geez, that's beautiful. I don't know, you have to be Mercury Zephyr from 79. I would love something like that, but be very careful when it comes to vintage stuff. As much as I love it, if you can't deal with the sagging headliners and the constant repairs, if you're not mechanically inclined, I'd have to say I wouldn't recommend it. I'm not sure about the Chrysler hubcaps, but must be an add-on. But anyway, I recommend just if you're in financial dire straits, just find something that'll get you to and from work. Toyota Corolla is a great choice if you can find one under like $5 grand. Yeah, and you have to watch out for the scams. If something's too low, it's obviously a scam. But like a lot of these, I think 1,015. That's probably the, when you click on it, it's gonna be like an asking price, whatever. But if you look, yeah, something like this Honda Civic right here. That's $3 grand, 104,000 miles, clean title. You just can't beat that with a stick. You can, that's gonna go. You're gonna get at least another 100,000 miles out of that. You have to put a little bit of money into it here and there, but, yeah, if you're, if you want something really comfortable, as a Buick LeSabre that has the 3.8. Anything with a 3.8, the LeSabre, the Park Avenue, the Olds 88 Royale, Buick Regal, it's going to last forever. And nice leather and 93,000 miles. That'll go, pretty much forever. And first and foremost, I can't stress this enough. Get it checked out by a competent mechanic. There's a mechanic shop I use in, there's actually a few really good ones in Wakefield here. I like AC Auto myself. If you're in the Wakefield area, they've always been good, and they'll, if there's an issue, they've actually brought it up on the vehicle up on the lift and show you what's wrong with it and everything, and they'll tell you, well, this you need to get done, in the near future, but something else, you can hold off on. But yeah, let's look, see what's under, it's under 5,000. Say you can get some decent stuff under here, under 5,000. Yeah, and I think a lot of these are at first batch were just like down payments. But yeah, with the odometer, find something under, say, 150,000. For the mileage, and here you go. 2000 Toyota Camry, 128,000 miles. That'll outlast the apocalypse. Volvo 240. That's another great car. If you can find a Volvo, that's from '89, but it doesn't matter. It'll go a million miles, and get it checked out. And 2,800. You just can't beat that with a stick. And then we're back to all these ones that they just showed a couple of earlier that have, that I'm pretty sure are just down payments, because nothing's, $1,200 or $1,500, unless it's in, unless it's dilapidated. But there we go. Yeah, Nissan Altima for 111,000 miles, $4 grand. There's stuff. There we go. Yeah, Ford Escort. Now these actually have Mazda engines. They'll run pretty much forever. 64,000 miles. That's a heck of a deal right there. Another one that's often overlooked, people don't think about, are the Ford Panthers. Now that is the Crown Vic, the Lincoln Town Car, and the Mercury Grand Marquis, and those will last forever. If you can find one of those with, under say, let's look up like Lincoln Town Car. See what's there for under $5,000. I'm sure you'll be able to find something very. Yeah, $4,000, 130,000 miles. I mean, these will literally go contingent upon if they're in good running condition. Like I said, have it checked out by a competent mechanic. If you don't already have one, look one up near your town. Look up, make sure they have good reviews. Talk to your neighbors and people that have, find a place that's been in business for a long time, and something. It was 2011, and it has, some body dents. That's another thing. If it has dents, it's still, as long as it runs, who cares what it looks like? That car right there, it's 150,000 miles. You're probably going to get, actually, this one I'd be a little apprehensive about, just because, you can tell how the shades of tan or silver, gold, whatever it is, sort of differ from the back and the front. That indicates it had some kind of body damage, but it was in an accident or whatever. But anyway, if you can find, there are plenty of vehicles out there. Even under $10,000 would be better. If you have like a $50,000 car loan right now, I mean, get rid of that. That's horrible. The dealerships will do whatever they can. That's one thing they always say when you go to the dealerships. They'll say, what's your payment? What payment can you afford? 'Cause they want to extract every last little penny that you're earning to put towards that stupid car. And I've done it. I've bought new cars in the past, and the car I have now I bought brand new. As I had stated in my last video, but there's a lot of things you can do. If you've got an expensive cell phone, try to cancel that plan. And the plan, that's where they kill you. What they really get, and I highly recommend, if you're on any kind of anything where they charge you every month, where that is a noose that is like the bear trap that's holding you in place and it's keeping you from achieving any of your financial goals. I highly recommend, whether it's cable or there's some things you can't avoid. You need to have health insurance. You need to have, internet. But there are cheaper options for things like that. If you can get by with you can get. I'm not saying don't get a smartphone, but obviously, if you can get by with a flip phone, like I think my mother's flip phone, she pays something like $10 a year for. I don't think they have that plan anymore through T-Mobile, but she's grandfathered in. But you can get something really cheap and that'll last you, and with an affordable plan. If you need the internet, and the texting, and all that crap on a smartphone, there's still some good deals you can get without, like I said, I have TracFone. And I think it's like $130 or something a year that I pay to renew it. And but I'm not on it all the time. I can't stand looking at that little screen and screwing around with it. If I need to text someone, I'll text them. If I need to call them, I'll call them, or they can call me, or whatever. But I rarely use the internet for anything. If I'm really in a jam and I'm lost somewhere, I'll use good old SIRI to get me. Not going to say the name, otherwise the phone will beep, but I'll use that to get me out of, get directions or whatever. But anyway, there's a lot of things you can do if you're in financial difficulties. And if you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comment section or message me directly. I'll be happy to answer your questions and, try to help steer you in a direction away from financial hardship, because I've been there and I've overcome it. And this is, I'm going to try to give anybody watching this, I'm hoping this will be a ray of hope, where if you really think you're never going to get yourself out of a hole, whether you dug it for yourself or whether it's been your victim circumstance, either way, I'm not going to judge anybody. I just, hopefully you'll be able to, let's prove it. If I can do it, anybody can. Because I don't come from privilege. I never had, I could never just go borrow, I'm going to borrow, 20 grand from my parents. Because they're working people, like me. So I never had that option. I had zero financial literacy, and I just had to figure it out for myself as I went along. So anyway, thanks a lot for watching, and do stay tuned for more videos. Good night and good luck.